Your worst enemy in the battle for a positive mental attitude is not the world outside, but the voice inside that agrees with every doubt the world throws at you. This is where most men and women lose the war before the first shot is fired. They stand at the mirror each morning, speak a few encouraging words to themselves, then spend the next 16 hours surrendering their mind to every negative suggestion that crosses their path. A coworker mentions hard times ahead. They accept it. The newspaper prints stories of failure and collapse. They absorb it. An old memory of defeat rises to the surface. They welcome it like an old friend. By sunset, the positive attitude they constructed at dawn lies in ruins, and they wonder why their life never changes. Let me tell you something that took me 40 years of research and 20 years of personal failure to understand. A positive mental attitude is not a mood. It is not something you feel when conditions are favorable. It is not the result of good fortune smiling upon you. A positive mental attitude is a disciplined, deliberate act of mental self-defense that you must practice every single hour of every single day until it becomes as automatic as breathing. And most people never develop it because they believe it should come naturally, easily, without effort. It does not come naturally. It never has. It never will. The mind, left to itself, will drift toward worry, fear, doubt, and self-pity as surely as a river flows downhill. This is not a defect in you. This is the natural state of an undisciplined mind. Your ancestors survived because they feared the lion in the grass, prepared for the drought, imagined the worst before it arrived. That mental machinery is still running inside your skull. It will run until you die. The question is not whether you have negative thoughts. The question is whether you have the discipline to refuse them citizenship in your mind. Andrew Carnegie once told me that the difference between a man who builds an empire and a man who dies in poverty is not talent, not luck, not even opportunity. It is the ability to stand guard at the door of one's own mind and refuse entry to thoughts that tear down rather than build up. He said this to me in his library in 1908, and I did not fully understand until I had spent another decade studying 500 of the most successful men in America. Every one of them, without exception, had developed the habit of controlling the nature of their thoughts. Not occasionally, not when they felt like it. Every day, every hour, as automatically as a guard stands watch at a fortress gate. They had learned what you must learn now. The thoughts you permit to dominate your mind will determine the conditions of your life. Not tomorrow, not someday. Right now, this moment. Every thought you think is setting into motion forces that will eventually crystallize into physical reality. If you fill your mind with thoughts of poverty, limitation, fear, and defeat, you are quite literally constructing a life of poverty, limitation, fear, and defeat. If you fill your mind with thoughts of abundance, possibility, courage, and victory, you are building a different life entirely. This is not mysticism. This is not wishful thinking. This is the observation of a man who spent half his life studying how successful people think and the other half teaching others to think the same way. But here is what stops most people from ever developing this unbreakable positive mental attitude. They try it for a day, for a week, for a month. They guard their thoughts. They reject negativity. They focus on their definite chief aim. And then nothing happens. No miracle drops from the sky. No fortune appears at their door. The bills still arrive. The job still frustrates. The dream still seems distant. So they quit. They return to their old mental habits. They tell themselves that positive thinking is nonsense, a fool's game, a fantasy for dreamers who do not live in the real world. And in that moment, they prove they never understood the principle at all. Thomas Edison did not think positively about the incandescent light bulb because it worked on the first attempt. He thought positively through 10,000 attempts that did not work. His laboratory caught fire and burned years of research to ash. He smiled and said they had just cleared away the rubbish so they could start fresh. When a reporter asked him how it felt to fail 10,000 times, he corrected the man and said he had not failed 10,000 times. He had not failed 10,000 times. He had discovered 10,000 ways that did not work. This was not optimism. This was not cheerful ignorance. This was an unbreakable, positive mental attitude forged through relentless mental discipline. Edison controlled his interpretation of events. You do not control what happens to you. You control only what you think about what happens to you. And that single ability, exercised daily, changes everything. Most people hand over control of their mental attitude to circumstances. The economy determines their mood. The weather determines their energy. Other people's opinions determine their confidence. They are like a leaf blown across the ground by every passing wind, never rooted, never stable, never in command of their own minds. Then they wonder why their lives feel chaotic, why their plans collapse, why their dreams fade into nothing. You cannot build an unbreakable positive mental attitude on the shifting sand of circumstances. You build it on the bedrock of a definite chief aim. Before I continue, answer one question honestly. If you died tonight and someone searched through your mind for evidence of what you truly want from life, would they find a clear, burning, definite purpose? Or would they find a pile of vague wishes, scattered dreams, and half-formed hopes that you never committed to with your whole heart? If you're still listening, something inside you is waking. Most people have never decided what they want. They have preferences, they have fantasies, they have complaints about what they do not want. But they have never sat down, closed the door, looked themselves in the mirror, and made an irrevocable decision about the one thing they will accomplish before they die. Without this definite chief aim, a positive mental attitude is impossible. You cannot remain positive about nothing. You cannot persist toward no destination. You cannot guard your thoughts when you have no purpose worth protecting them. The moment you choose your definite chief aim and commit to it with every atom of your being, everything changes. Now the negative thoughts are not just unpleasant, they are threats. Now the doubts are not just uncomfortable, they are enemies. Now the fear is not just uncomfortable, they are enemies. Now the fear is not just a feeling, it is an obstacle between you and the thing you have decided you will achieve. And in that moment you find the strength to fight back. I have seen this transformation occur in men who had drifted through life for decades. One day they finally decided, not hoped, not wished, decided. From that moment forward, their mental attitude shifted because they had something worth being positive about. They stopped accepting defeat because defeat now had a cost they were unwilling to pay. They stopped entertaining doubt because doubt now stood between them and their goal. Their positive mental attitude became unbreakable, not because they were born with stronger minds, but because they had finally given themselves a reason to guard their minds with ferocity. But decision alone is not enough. You must feed the decision daily. Henry Ford built an automobile empire in a time when most men believed the automobile was a passing novelty for the wealthy. Banks refused him. Investors mocked him. Experts declared his dream impossible. He could have let those voices enter his mind. He could have entertained their doubts. He could have questioned his own vision. Instead, he surrounded himself with men who shared his vision, read books that reinforced his belief, focused his conversation on plans rather than problems, and spent his mental energy on solutions rather than obstacles. He built a fortress around his mind and refused entry to anything that contradicted his definite chief aim. This is what you must do. You must become ruthless about what you allow into your mind. The books you read are either building your mental attitude or destroying. The people you spend time with are either reinforcing your purpose or undermining it. The conversations you engage in are either moving you toward your goal or pulling you away from it. The thoughts you entertain in idle moments are either strengthening your resolve or weakening. There is no neutral ground. Every input is either an asset or a liability. Most people consume negativity all day long and then wonder why they cannot maintain a positive mental attitude. They read newspapers filled with disaster. They listen to conversations soaked in complaint. They replay their own failures in their mind like a phonograph stuck on a broken record. Then they try to think one positive thought before bed and expect it to overpower the 16 hours of mental poison they ingested during the day. It does not work that way. You are in a war. Every day, every hour. The negative forces of the world are organized, relentless, and infinitely patient. They will wait for you to drop your guard. They will slip through the smallest crack in your mental defenses. They will disguise themselves as reason, as realism, as friendly advice. And the moment you let them in, they will begin their work of tearing down everything you are trying to build. This is why you must develop a system. Not a feeling, not a hope. A system. You must decide what time you will guard your mind each morning. You must choose what you will read, what you will think about, what you will focus on before the world has a chance to throw its negativity at you. You must build your mental attitude before you encounter the forces that will try to destroy it. This is not optional. This is not for weak people who need a crutch. This is for anyone who intends to achieve anything significant in a world designed to keep you ordinary. I knew a man once, a factory worker in Pennsylvania, who decided he would become financially independent. He had no education beyond the 8th grade. He had no connections. He had no capital. He had nothing but a burning desire and the discipline to guard his thoughts. Every morning before his shift began, he spent 30 minutes reading books about men who had achieved what he wanted to achieve. Every evening before sleep, he visualized his goal as if it were already accomplished. During the day, when co-workers complained about wages, he excused himself. When friends mocked his ambition, he stopped spending time with them. When doubt crept into his mind, he immediately replaced it with a thought about his plan and his purpose. It took him 11 years, but he achieved his goal. Not because he was smarter than other men, not because he was luckier, because he refused to let his mental attitude be determined by his circumstances. He built it, he fed it, he guarded it, he fed it, and it carried him to his destination, while thousands of men with more talent and more opportunity drifted into lives of quiet desperation. You can do the same, but you must start now, not tomorrow, not after things get better, not when you feel more confident. Now, understand this clear mental attitude in this moment is creating your life in the next moment. If you are thinking thoughts of limitation right now, you are building a limited future. If you are entertaining doubts right now, you are constructing a life filled with doubt. If you are, let's say, focusing on obstacles right now, you are ensuring that obstacles will dominate your path. This is not punishment. This is not bad luck. This is law, the law of mental magnetism. Like attracts like. The mind attracts like. The mind attracts the physical equivalent of that which it dwells upon. So, dwell on what you want, not what you fear. Dwell on solutions, not problems. Dwell on possibilities, not limitations. Dwell on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Dwell on your plan, not your past. Do this every hour of every day until it becomes as natural as walking, and you will develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude. But you will be tested. Count on it. The moment you commit to this path, life will send you a test. Someone will criticize you. A plan will fail. A door will close. An old fear will rise from the grave. This is not evidence that your positive mental attitude does not work. This is evidence that you are moving forward. Obstacles always appear when you are making progress. The universe does not test people who are standing still. It tests people who are advancing toward something significant. The question is not whether you will face adversity. The question is whether you will interpret that adversity through the lens of defeat or the lens of opportunity. A man with a weak mental attitude sees a setback and calls it the end. A man with an unbreakable positive mental attitude sees the same setback and calls it information. What did I learn? What can I adjust? What door just opened that I could not see before? This is not self-deception. This is wisdom. Because every setback does contain information. Every failure does reveal a weakness in your plan. Every closed door does redirect you toward a better path, but only if you train yourself to see it. Napoleon, the French emperor, not me, once said that the man who has made up his mind to win has already won half the battle. I would go further. The man who has made up his mind to guard his thoughts has won 3/4 of the battle, because most battles are lost in the mind long before they are lost in the world. Men quit because they lose faith in their own thoughts. They abandon their dreams because they let doubt consume their mental energy. They accept defeat because they have spent so much time rehearsing failure in their imagination that when failure arrives, it feels familiar, comfortable, like coming home. You must reverse this process. You must rehearse success so often in your mind that success begins to feel familiar. You must visualize your goal so clearly that doubt feels foreign. You must think about victory so consistently that defeat becomes unthinkable. This is not pretending. This is preparation. The athlete who visualizes his performance before the game improves his performance during the game. The businessman who sees his deal closing before he enters the negotiation closes more deals. The artist who imagines his work completed before he picks up the brush creates better work. The mind cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. So use this principle to your advantage. But do not confuse visualization with daydreaming. Daydreaming is passive. Visualization is active. Daydreaming is escape. Visualization is rehearsal. The daydreamer imagines winning the lottery. The visualization imagines him making the call, having the conversation, taking the action that moves him toward his goal. Then he takes that action. Then he takes the next action. Then he takes the next. He builds his positive mental attitude through the rhythm of disciplined action, and the action reinforces the attitude, and the attitude inspires more action. And the cycle continues until what he visualized becomes what he lives. This is the secret. This is what separates those who merely wish from those who achieve. You think it. You feel it. You act on it. You become it. Most people reverse the order. They wait to feel confident before they act. They wait for circumstances to improve before they think positively. They wait for proof before they believe. And so they wait forever, because confidence comes from action, not before it. Positive circumstances come from positive thoughts, not before them. Proof comes from persistence, not before it. You must move first. The universe responds to those who move. I have taught this principle to thousands of men and women over 4 decades. The ones who succeed are not the most talented. They are the most disciplined. They are the ones who wake up every morning and choose their thoughts before their thoughts choose them. They are the ones who set their mental attitude at dawn and guard it until dusk. They are the ones who treat their mind like a garden, pulling weeds the moment they appear, planting seeds of desire and faith and persistence until the garden grows so thick with positive thoughts that weeds can no longer find room to take root. You can become one of these people, but you must decide that you will. Not hope, not try. Decide. And once you decide, you must understand that your old self will resist. The part of you that has drifted for years will not surrender without a fight. It will tell you that discipline is too hard, that guarding your thoughts is exhausting, that you had tried before and failed before, and there is no point in trying again. This voice is not your enemy. It is simply the echo of your old mental habits, and those habits are fighting for survival. Do not argue with this voice. Do not try to silence it. Simply refuse to obey it. Acknowledge that it exists, then choose your thoughts anyway. You think the thoughts you want to think, not the thought that arrives uninvited. You focus on your definite chief aim, not the thought that arrives uninvited. You focus on your definite chief aim, not the fear that whispers you will fail. You fill your mind with plans and strategies and action steps, not with memories of past defeats. You do this once, then twice, then 100 times, then 1,000. And eventually the old voice grows weaker. The new voice grows stronger. The unbreakable positive mental attitude becomes who you are, not something you practice. And on that day you will look back and realize that everything changed. Not because the world became easier, not because people became kinder, not because people became kinder, not because obstacles disappeared, because you developed the one ability that makes everything else possible, the ability to control your own mind, to choose your own thoughts, to build your own mental attitude, regardless of what the world throws at you. This is freedom. This is power. This is the foundation of all achievement. Everything you want in life sits on the other side of an unbreakable positive mental attitude. Wealth, love, health, respect, peace, purpose, all of it. But you cannot claim any of it until you claim control of your own thoughts. This is where you start. This is where everyone must start. And this is where most people refuse to start because they do not believe it matters. It matters more than anything else. It is the difference between a life of your own design and a life of quiet surrender to circumstances. It is the difference between becoming who you were meant to become and remaining who you have always been. It is the difference between dying with your dream, fulfilled, and dying with them still locked inside you, unborn, unrealized, wasted. You are standing at a crossroads right now. One path leads to more of the same, more drifting, more complaining, more accepting whatever life hands you, more negative thoughts disguised as realism, more dreams deferred until some day that never comes. The other path leads to discipline, to daily practice, to deliberate control of your own mind, to an unbreakable positive mental attitude that carries you through every storm, every setback, every moment of doubt, until you finally arrive at the destination you chose. Both paths are open to you. Both will accept you. But only one will take you where you want to go. And you must choose today, not tomorrow, today. Because every day you delay is a day your old mental habits grow stronger. Every day you wait is a day your old mental habits grow stronger. Every day you wait is a day your dreams grow dimmer. Every day you postpone this decision is a day you surrender your mind to forces that do not care whether you succeed or fail. You were not born to drift. You were not created to accept limitation. You were not put on this earth to think small thoughts and live a small life. You were designed for achievement, for growth, for contribution, for significance. But none of that will happen until you take command of your own mind and refuse to let anyone or anything determine your mental attitude except you. The tools are in your hands now. The knowledge is in your mind. The only question that remains is whether you will use them, whether you will guard your thoughts, whether you will feed your mind with positive, constructive, purposeful input, whether you will reject negativity with the same ferocity a guard rejects an intruder, whether you will build your mental attitude before the world has a chance to tear it down, whether you will become unbreakable. I cannot make this decision for you. No one can. This is the one choice that every person must make alone. But I can tell you what will happen if you make your life will transform, not overnight, not magically, but steadily, relentlessly. One thought at a time, one day at a time, one decision at a time, until the person you are becoming is so different from the person you were that you can barely recognize yourself, until your mind is so strong, so disciplined, so positive that nothing the world throws at you can shake it. Until you have built something inside yourself that cannot be taken from you, cannot be destroyed by circumstances, cannot be diminished by criticism or defeat or fear. You will have built an unbreakable, positive mental attitude. And on that foundation, you can build anything else you desire, anything at all. Because the man who controls his own mind controls his own destiny. And the man who controls his own destiny is truly free. This is your inheritance. This is your birthright. This is what you were meant to claim. Now go claim it. Start today. Start this hour. Start this moment. Take command of your thoughts. Choose your mental attitude. Guard it. Feed it. Build it. Make it unbreakable. And then watch as your entire life reshapes itself around the thoughts you have chosen to think. If this message stirred something in you, something that has been asleep too long, then share it with someone who needs to hear it. And stay close. There's more wisdom to come for those who are ready to receive it. But the first step is yours to take. No one can take it for you. You must choose. Now choose well.